Hi everyone. Let's start off by understanding what is a data warehouse. So a data warehouse is a central repository of information that can be analyzed to make informed decisions. So you have a bunch of data sources, you have your relational databases, log files, semi-structured databases, streaming data, so on and so forth. Data from each of these sources flow into a central repository at a regular cadence, which is typically referred to as a data warehouse. Now, this is a textbook definition of a data warehouse, which most of you guys might have heard of, and the diagram on the slide shows exactly that. But what you probably ignored or weren't fully aware of is the fact that the concept of data warehousing, data science, and machine learning models have been around for decades. The only difference between what happened in the last few years compared to, let's say, 20 or 30 years ago is cloud. With the evolution of cloud and the pace at which it happened, you can now have a beefed up virtual machine in a matter of minutes. Also, over the last few years, there have been a lot of managed software as a solution offering when it comes to cloud analytical data warehouses. Up until, let's say, even a decade ago, companies would have their data warehouses set up in an SQL server or even a relational database system as long as it served the purpose. But the problem with that was these systems weren't scalable. They were typically meant for online transactional processing or OLTP, where the data would be super normalized. They had a row oriented design, which an RDBMS is meant for. They didn't support concurrency or distributed processing, and there would be a single point of failure. With cloud coming into play, all of these issues are handled. There's no overhead, there's no maintenance needed. You have on demand scaling, you have distributed processing and concurrency as long as you know how to leverage these two concepts. Cloud data warehouses are for OLAP queries, online analytical processing, because of their design, which is column oriented as opposed to row oriented databases, which are meant for OLTP purposes. Now, when it comes to cloud data warehouses, there are three of them which can possibly be placed in the same category. You have your Redshift, which is an Amazon cloud offering. You have BigQuery, which is your Google cloud offering. And then you have Snowflake. Now, the one common aspect between these three is that they are all managed by the cloud service providers. To be honest, I'd say BigQuery is the only data warehouse that comes close to competing with Snowflake at this point with its on-demand scalability and efficiency. But I would still say Snowflake is the best out there. You also have Hive on Hadoop and Athena on AWS. I would place these two in the same category more or less. In fact, I would call Athena a better managed version of Hive because they both have their own limitations, especially when it comes to handling the file system, manipulating the data on your file system on which the tables are mounted, DML, DDL operations, so on and so forth. But I wouldn't go as far as calling them a complete cloud data warehouse because they come with a lot of pain points. In the next video, we'll understand what is the possible role of having another cloud service provider like Amazon or Google while building a data warehouse solution or a data lake.